Yeah, I want to introduce you to my audience, or just to the audience out there. And this is John Baker, really good friend of mine. I take a lot of pride in being in your wedding. I've always taken a lot of pride in being in your wedding, and having you as a really good friend of mine. So, John, if you'd like to introduce yourself, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. My name's John Baker. I played. I don't know. It's weird to say like how you're known. Actually, I was just taking a class and you had to Google yourself to find out what your passive digital footprint was. And doing that exercise is like super strange because I'm not somebody that does it. Not somebody that describes like my background very often. But I used to play baseball professionally. I played in the major leagues for 7 seasons. Played 14 seasons of professional baseball in total. Went all over the world because of baseball. As far west or east, however you want to call it, to like Iraq and Kuwait. Spent time in Haiti, the Dominican Republic. Did clinics throughout Western Europe. Played for 3 different teams in the big leagues. Played on the East Coast with the Marlins in Miami and got to live there for quite a few years. Played on the West Coast in Southern California and San Diego for the Padres for a few years. And then I spent my last season in the major leagues in Chicago with the Cubs. And I work I guess, an executive role, I guess you'd say, which sounds weird, with the Cubs right now while I'm finishing school. But yeah, no, you and I met at Cal Berkeley when we were just like little children playing baseball at Cal. And I always felt honored. I know that I said same things at my wedding about you, about how when times were tough for me, you were the kind of person that always like stood by me, man. And that's why I'm glad that you're starting something like this and getting your message and your personality out to more people because the overwhelming response to you generally is people walk away like happier and having learned something that they didn't think they were going to know about. So it's good that you're getting this stuff out, and I'm proud of you for doing it.
Thanks a lot. That means a ton coming from you. Yeah, we so a little bit about John. And you can tell the story better than I can. I met John and I went to college together at UC Berkeley, and although I can't remember the exact first time where we met, it just really was very impressive to me that someone who can come into a walk-on role and earn a starting spot, and then just continue to fight for that starting spot because, quite frankly, the school didn't have scholarship money invested in you at the time, and you know as well as anybody, if you're not an investment, you have to fight for playing time. You have to fight for that job. You have to fight for that roster spot. Just to make the team as a walk-on is very impressive. It doesn't happen that often. And if you could tell your story about how you went from an unrecruited athlete out of high school, where you planned on moving on collegiately, or just going to a college without even playing baseball, I think it was, and then you were seen in a summer league game, and then Coach Esker gave you a shot as a walk-on at Cal. So if you could tell the audience just about that story, man, it's amazing.
Yeah. So after I graduated high school in '99, I was kind of committed that I wasn't going to play baseball anymore. I wanted to do political science. I wanted to go to UCLA. I'd gotten into school there. My plan was to go major in political science. I'd gotten into an honors program at UCLA, and then I was going to go to graduate school and probably law school. I wanted to be a lawyer. And so for me in high school, school kind of was always first. And I came from kind of a pretty, my dad's kind of crazy, great guy, pretty strict and intense, and like expected excellence out of me. And anything that I spent any time practicing, he expected it to be excellent. He expected the practice to be really good. And I think this story kind of illustrates that influence, that practice is the most important thing generally. But yeah, so academics first, but I love playing baseball. I love practicing baseball. I love hitting. I love going to the cage. I love doing all the things I think sometimes that some of the other people didn't like to do. And I felt like it gave me confidence even when I wasn't a heralded baseball player to go out and compete because I really felt like, like you hear the story about the guy in the front yard shooting free throws, right? And there's always somebody that shot one more. Like it was my mission as a little kid to be the guy that shot one more. Like I always wanted to do that. So I leave. I'm going to go to school, and I actually joined a summer baseball team called the Oakland Smoke because they had a trip to Hawaii, and it wasn't that expensive to join the team, and it was like all expenses paid on that trip. So the reason I kept playing baseball was so I could go on this vacation, and I kind of made peace with the fact that I wasn't going to play anymore. So I joined this team. I get glasses, which helped me see a little bit better, and I started swinging the bat a whole lot better. And I get a phone call. I had one recruiting offer out of high school, and that was to go to Pepperdine to be a relief pitcher. and I threw like 85, which for people that don't know about baseball is not like the world's best fastball. And so I kind of said, it's going to be cheaper for me to go to UCLA with the academic scholarship that I have. And I don't want to be a pitcher, and I know I'm not that good. I'll never make it to the big leagues like that. And so I ended up, I was going to go to UCLA. Well, about 2 weeks before school started, the guy who took over at Cal at the time, Dave Esker, who was from Pepperdine, who had talked to me there to become and be a pitcher, wanted to see me, had heard about me hitting and wanted to see me hit. So he came to a game at, I think, Laney Junior College. We were playing some random team. And he asked the coach if he would let me catch the game. And so I did. I never caught before. And so I put gear on and went out and got, I think, 4 hits in that game. I just served him over the shortstop's head to left center field. It was like my patented thing when I was younger. And after that, he said, hey, we can get you into Cal because you got the grades. Do you want to be a walk-on? And, growing up in the East Bay in the Bay Area in Northern California, being so close to Berkeley, both my parents went to Stanford. So they were kind of the school that they had the appeal to me because my parents never liked it. I think that's a common impulse amongst teenagers. But I ended up there at Cal, and yeah, man, I walked on, was like the 40th guy on the team my freshman year, but man, I really swung the bat well, and I could see better, and I practiced, and I kind of looked around, and at the same time, I started to mature physically a little bit more. I was getting bigger and stronger, and so all that practice that I had done when I was a kid, man, like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and hitting balls in the side yard, spending extra hours in the batting cage by myself, driving myself after high school baseball practice to a cage and just putting tokens in and hitting, all that practice started to pay off. And all of a sudden, when I was physically the same as everybody else, I went from being like looking around and like trying to compete to getting to a point where all of a sudden I looked around and I'm like, I'm better than everybody else is here at this one particular skill. Like I can hit better than everybody on our team. And that gave me confidence. And I kind of was a whirlwind after that. My sophomore year, I wasn't even the starting catcher my sophomore year. I won the starting job about halfway through. Ended up hitting 330 and making honorable mention all league. And then I came back the next year really confident. I won the batting title in the conference and ended up getting drafted in the 4th round, which if you would have told me that was going to happen when I was 18, I would have laughed in your face because I thought, when I was 21, I was going to be, getting ready to go to my senior year of college and graduate and start applying to graduate school, not packing up everything I own, hopping on a bus and going to Vancouver, British Columbia and starting a wild career in professional baseball.
So that's 392, right? Junior year?
383.
383, okay.
I was hitting that. I think Connor and I went both. I went 0 for 4, and the other player on our team, Connor Jackson, that we had the same average going into the last game. He went 0 for 5, and so I beat him by 1 point.
No,
that's how it ended.
I remember that. Yeah. So I mean, that's just to the audience out there, just to make the squad, make a Pac-10 squad out of out of high school and as in the recruited walk-on form is extremely difficult. And to go into that, I don't even think you redshirted. No, you didn't. No. So you went into that. You played a little bit, and then you just continued to. I think you went to the Cape that summer, right?
Yeah, that was an interesting one too.
The Cape Cod is just the most competitive summer collegiate summer baseball league where all the top players go, and that really you stepped your game up and went from in a matter of a year out of high school you went into playing in that competitive league, right?
Yeah,
right away into the Cape Cod league, and so that's you kind of you clearly stepped your game up and took it to another level, and then that gave you the confidence. It's that momentum. It doesn't really matter what industry you're in, what sport, whatever you do for a living. You're getting that victory, that slow moving momentum that just in that ember inside you to start rolling is really what leads to a lot of people's success. And so if you wouldn't mind just telling a little bit about the road with the A's, which was a little bit of a roller coaster because you were somewhat of a highly drafted prospect, but you also had someone in front of you, Jeremy Brown, right? That kind of, it was like, oh great, now I got another. It was kind of a similar situation, or I wouldn't say similar situation because now they do have something clearly invested in you, but you had to. It's just like you told me, and I'll never forget it. It's like, man, I've done this my whole life. I've always had to beat somebody. I've always had to outplay somebody. Yeah. And so if you wouldn't mind touching on the Oakland A's situation.
Well, yeah, sum that up pretty quick. Jeremy was a first round draft pick. He was if you've seen the movie Moneyball, he's the guy that falls down at the end. He was the darling of the GM Billy Bean, who in the movie was played by Brad Pitt. And it was his like kind of field pick in that draft, and so he got every opportunity. I got a lot of opportunity as well, but a lot of times it was an interesting situation because they kind of pitted us against each other. They kept putting us on the same team and forcing us to compete. And I think that's actually a really important point in my life because I made a conscious decision. I think a lot of times when people compete, especially within the same industry, a lot of times what you see is that they compete. They want to see the other person fail, as opposed to they want to best what the other person's doing. And I think that when you have that kind of competition and you look at it, when you want to see the other person fail, I think it's a disadvantage in your kind of point of view, as opposed to you want to see that person do as well as they can. So that way, for you to beat them, you have to actually do even better than that, and then you're doing better than you ever thought you could do. And I always looked at it that way. I always made it to a point to be somebody that if I was directly competing against somebody, I wanted them to do well, and it kind of spread to the rest of my life. As a player, I always wanted to play against whoever they said was the best. Like that's what I wanted to see. I wasn't in it to like look for easy wins. I can't remember who said it, but I heard somebody say one time that the definition of a bully is somebody that goes into a competition that they know they're going to win. And that's kind of always what I despised about certain teammates that I had or opposing players or whatever. But it was something that I always really tried to run away from, that kind of evil feeling. And that kind of shift in my viewpoint, I feel like opened up a lot more opportunity in my career because I began to like want to be in the situations where if I had to succeed to advance, there's times in your life where you need to have opportunity. People always say, hey, the opportunity is a door. When it knocks, you got to open the door and step through the door. But I think it's a little bit different than that. And I'm not a huge believer in like the ideas of the laws of attraction, but like I really believe that as an athlete, right? If I was going to make it to the major leagues when I was in the minor leagues, I had to be a good left-handed batter against left-handed pitchers. The only way that I was going to get better at doing that was by doing it more often and like trial and error. So I wanted whoever the best left-handed pitcher was when I was in the minor league and the big leagues. I wanted to face Aroldis Chapman. I wanted to face Randy Johnson when I was younger. I wanted to know who the best guy was, and I wanted to compete against him because that for me was the thrill. And I think that's why I advanced where some other people fell off, is because I was looking for like kind of like that danger, that excitement, and other people were just looking to have good numbers and do well, where I wanted to, I wanted my team to win, but man, I wanted to be the guy that won the game, and I wanted to be the guy that caught the last ball of the game. I don't know if that's kind of competitively selfish, but I think that's what I took away from my experience with the A's. I know this isn't like a baseball story per se, but for me, it's a really personal one in that it shifted kind of like my view on life. It changed who I was as a person.
Yeah, because you constantly, you challenged yourself rather than, just like it's an internal victory. It's like challenging yourself and then coming out on top is just something that, that's something that will stick with you for the rest of your life in any situation, right? And then just building that, did you do it for that? Did you get addicted to that feeling of just like that challenge and then just that internal victory?
I think you get the things like, it's like people climb Mount Everest, right? We get addicted to like big challenges, or at least I do. I look at things a lot and I think, okay, well, you think about the odds of it takes for people to get to the big leagues, and you do something like that, or you get to achieve something like that, and like kind of realize a dream that you had as a kid, and then you look around and you think that you could do it anywhere, I guess, but the micro of that kind of big journey toward the end of something is just wanting the opportunity to compete. You want that opportunity to compete. Like if you're an actor, it would be like you'd want just the opportunity to get in front of people and do your thing. You'd want as many times as you can in front of other people to achieve whatever your goal is. And for me, I was just always looking to compete against the best guys. That's what I just wanted to see. I don't want to see the second best or the third best guy I'm going to compete against. I just want to see the best guy. And I think that if you think about that theme, when you move up the levels of a sports organization like that, that's what you're seeing more and more is the best guys, and I think that kind of, it all ties in.
Totally. So before we hit the record button, you said you had an interesting motivational story that you never would have thought that I would have gone direction wise. I would love to hear that. I'm sure the audience would as well.
Okay. So, I have two children. They're 5 and 2, and my oldest daughter, she's 5. Her name is Brooklyn, and she's she's going to be in kindergarten next year, and she's starting to do some activities. And we kind of realized that a lot of people have this fear of public speaking. It's like if you look up, you Google number one fear for everybody, it's like getting up and talking in front of people. And they offered a like an acting program at her ballet school where she does her dance lessons. It's her one activity that she does now. She does this acting class, and they do it like a seminar after her preschool ended. And so for 3 weeks, for 5 days a week, she went in and she practiced songs and she practiced a monologue and she practiced it at home over and over and over again until she memorized like a really serious chunk of a paragraph for a little kid, right? I mean, man, we practiced all the time. So comes time for the performance, and the way that they do it on this one is that they perform at the end in like a big theater with people sitting in there and the lights down, and they got to walk out into the middle of a stage, little kids 4, 5, and 6 years old, and deliver like basically a speech in front of a quiet audience. And so I can tell you as a parent, my God, was I so nervous. Like I'm sweating, like more nervous than I was doing anything on my own, playing baseball or whatever. No, watching your kid have to do anything is a crazy feeling. It was the first time I ever had to experience it too. So anyway, I'm sitting there in the stands in the audience, and we're watching, and all the kids are doing pretty good. A couple kids forget some of their stuff. Some kids are embarrassed, so they run on the stage and they say something really fast and they run off. And then it comes time for my kid, and there's like a delay before she comes out. And when I see her walking out on the stage, I'm like, oh no, I can tell she's been crying. Like I can see it in her eyes, like she's sad. And if you see a picture of her, she's got glasses, she's a cute little kid. So I can tell she's been sad, but she walks out to the middle of the stage and fighting back, like clearly fighting back tears that, like a parent can tell. She just hammers out her whole thing, right? Like doesn't miss a word, goes all the way through it, whatever at the end, and then she walks off the stage. So they come out and they do their little musical number, and we find out that, and I can still kind of see it. She's in there participating, but you can still kind of see that something's a little bit off. So after the show, we go to meet her at the door of the stage. You have to get out of the theater and go all the way around. Like they kind of do it. They want to teach them like how real actors do it. And she comes out and she's upset, crying. And so we pick her up, and one of the teachers from the class comes over and says, I have to tell you that it was one of the most magical things that I just saw backstage. And you should be so proud of Brooklyn for what she did. And so, I'm like, well, what the hell happened? Why was she so upset? And she said, well, right before she went out onto the stage to do her monologue, she was getting a little bit nervous, and she peed her pants. And so she has pee, and the butt of her pants is all wet. And fortunately she's wearing all black, so you can't see it, right? But she doesn't know that. So this little 5-year-old girl stands there, and the teacher says, sees what happens. She's like, oh, if you don't want to go, like that's totally okay. You don't have to do it. They're really sweet people, and they want to give the kid a way out. And my kid looks at the teacher and says, no, I practiced this. I'm going to do this. And marches her ass out on stage and spits out a perfect monologue, fighting back all those tears. So for me, it's like, I hear the story. I'm like fighting back tears and fist pumping, could you be more proud as a parent than when your kid faces some shit like that, looks it right in the eye, and marches out on stage and execute the stuff that she's practiced, and believes in her practice and believes in herself. So having that happen, like, right, it's an inspirational story, but you don't expect it to go like that. And it's something that really inspired me the other day. I was just blown away, man. And I was so proud to be a father of somebody that was strong like that. And you can find that kind of stuff anywhere, even from a 5-year-old girl that just pissed her pants.
Oh, man, that's unbelievable. I've had the pleasure of spending some time around little B, and that's amazing. I can't imagine how that must feel for you and Megan. I'm sure she was there, and that's really deep. That's I wasn't expecting. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, there's a Target right by, so I ran to Target right after. She's upset. I went to get her some clothes. We didn't have a change of clothes for her, and I bought her like a WWE replica belt, and I came back. I put it around her waist, and I'm like,
just a champion, dude.
I'm like, today's July 8th, 2016, Brooklyn, and you're the fucking champion of the world.
What'd she say?
What's that? She was happy, you know. She was still a little bit upset, but eventually she got over it and she was cool. She liked her new outfit. We cleaned her off. Her parents, no
Oh
big deal.
man.
Stuff happens, but man, like I said, it's just amazing you can find the places where you can find inspiration. Sometimes are you find it when you least expect it, and it was something that's a story that I'm gonna have to write down and give to her when she gets older, because it was an important moment in my life.
Well, thanks for sharing that, man. Seriously, on or offline like that. I'm just glad you shared that with me. That's incredible. I yeah, I mean it's I mean there are situations that we come across in life, and that's that's your own blood. But I mean there are people that I see just post office and just running around errands, standing up for what's right, and just that's really cool to me to see for someone just not whether it's standing up for themselves, and there's so many easy ways to go about just going through the motions out here. There's inspiration in so many different places that we look in our daily lives, and it's always cool when we can let something like that get in there and motivate us to kind of look at things from a different lens. But no, that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean it's it kind of touches on the subject of someone. I've been doing this Facebook Live recently on obviously Facebook, and someone asked me recently who are my favorite speakers. What motivates me, and it's situations that I put in my head daily, situations that I've been in daily that I do as part of my morning routine. Just see like horizons that I've seen from a very dark time in my life, and I see that every morning when I go to my aversion table, and that kind of rocks me a little bit because it takes me right back to a point in my life where I was rock bottom, and that's something. That's why I don't really want to move. I mean, I'm going to move, but I don't. It's whatever type of intrinsic motivation is one way that I've done some research of what it's called, but just getting it going from within. I don't really listen to motivational speakers. I couldn't stand it when like high school football coaches used to try to motivate us. It's like in my head I would just be like, what about this guy makes him feel that I need to be motivated? Like I needed one person to believe in me in high school. Stu Peterson was his name, and once ex major leaguer, and once he took me aside and told me that like, look, you have a chance, but you have potential, but that only
Yeah.
means you haven't done it yet, and so you have to work. There's somebody out there in North Dakota working harder than you right now. I mean, we spent 2 to 3 hours sometimes car running in my driveway in Palo Alto with him saying that, and it bothered me because I heard a lot of it was, like a broken record, but I listened to every word that left his mouth, and props to him because that is what that got embedded from that point on. From I think I was 15 when I first met him to just all right. There's discipline, there's work ethic, there's routine, and there's mental strength. He really hammered home these core values for just going about my business and going about my work, and just staying focused on the goal, and I'm glad he did. I don't really I mean I don't know how this tied in from being inspired to but inspiration, motivation. I mean it's
Well,
all
it's like bringing up a method of thinking. I think it's like if you think about the scientific method about how people make a hypothesis and they try to prove themselves wrong. Like what you're talking about, I feel like it's not necessarily classified. I don't know because I haven't read all the psychological literature or how they term things. But what you're talking about is like he's what taught you the like that sports mindset. And the sports mindset is not just about competition on the field. The mindset and the thing that sports teaches you is that you have to grind it out and practice like really hard. That's
right.
a big part of it. Like you got to be willing to put the reps in. And I think that what you really do so well is that you kind of do that. You take that same mindset and you apply it to the things that matter to you in life because you realize that that's the most effective mindset to use. You apply it to your business, to Alatura. You applied it to your modeling career. You applied that to your health after your accident. You learn those values on the athletic field, but where you really learned them, like you just said, is you learned them off the athletic field. You learn those things in training for something, right? You're training for something. Just like if you're building your brand, you're marketing for something. If you're making a new product, you're testing for something. You were training for something, and you're doing the same thing now. And but I can see why. It's like that's your apartments, your stew.
Yeah, I mean,
reminds you of the grind.
no, it is the grind, and he was really big on controlling what I can control, and that's so true with and whether it was the entertainment industry, it was just I can only control the food that I put in my body. Staying at home on the weekends when I had an audition for Toyota on Monday, not going out and partying and playing and getting sunburned, beach volleyball on Sunday. I was working out. I was eating correctly. You got to take advantage of every little thing that you can in any environment. And like especially out here in where just any little. There's not much separation physically, but I knew mentally walking into that room that I was the most prepared there. Period. I mean, from when I got my email Thursday or Friday for my audition Monday, hey guys, casting for Toyota, 2635 Ocean Park Avenue in Santa Monica. I knew. I mean, a lot of people. Oh, I got a couple days to screw around. I'll probably tighten it up Sunday night. From that point on, whenever I got it, it was like game time. It was that's one thing that athletics has absolutely led into, and discipline is rewarded. It is, and it doesn't necessarily have to be that victory, but it has to be. It's that mindset that you were able, that willpower. That man, it leads into that momentum and you challenging yourself and going, look, that it's a quiet confidence that look. I mean, when things happen. Out of nowhere, when you stay focused and you keep that quiet willpower and you go about your business and you stay strong and focused, things happen. So,
have you heard Jocko ideas?
Who?
Jocko Will.
I don't know. Is that the Jocko podcast?
Yeah, he's got a podcast.
Yeah.
His tagline is that discipline is freedom, right? Because you're talking about the things that you can control. You have control over yourself. Through your own willpower.
Yeah.
And so he's a psycho, man. He gets up at 4:30 a.m. every day and he lifts weights. But what he writes about is that he's free because he's completely in control of himself, right? He controls what goes into his mouth. It's not like his urges or his cravings or whatever. Like he's completely in control of himself. So he's the most free of everybody. Like he runs his body better than everybody else. And it makes a lot of sense to me. If you're like that discipline, and I was thinking about that, and I've always done better in life when I've had some sort of extreme regimen going on, right? Whether it be extreme diet or extreme workout program. It's like if you tell somebody all the stuff that you're doing, right, or all the stuff that you're trying to do, and then they laugh at it, then you're doing it right. You know what I mean? You're doing it right. Like when you describe your tonic and I laugh at you, you're doing it right.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love it. When we be, when I'd be working for Speedo, Oakley, a lot of other dudes, just eating the set food, I'd be over there cracking open a can of sardines, and with a spoon, using the other end of the spoon as a knife to cut my avocado, and they're like, dude, why don't you just get a knife? I didn't bring a knife, all right? I forgot it, all right? And so I'm just cutting it around, scooping around. They're laughing. I'm like, I love it, dude. I love it. This is what separates us. And it's just that little, I don't know if you want to call it eccentricity or whatever. It's just, I kind of like just have always liked going a different route, not following the cool crowd. I mean, it was just, and that just kind of led into certain things. This is me. This is what I do. I'll probably pop on Into the Wild again for the 40th time this year tonight, and then just think and just kind of go over some ingredients that I'm kind of bouncing around in my head for my latest products and things. I mean, that's just what I love to do. It's like you said, it is kind of, it's fun being free like that, and I'm very grateful for that. It's just we are in control of every single thing that we do, everything that we put in our body, what we do. It's like there's no. It's tough out here in Los Angeles. Don't get me wrong. Like there's a lot of temptation, and I have great friends that are a lot of fun. But it's as it's when you get a chance to really do something special. It's tough to go to bed at night sometimes because it's that exciting. So it's So yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. You've been extremely successful, and it's just a big support from the beginning to me. Just by just saying stay excited. I think you said keep that excitement. Keep going. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I I loved hearing that, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was kind of working, nighttime jobs and with that focus, I worked nighttime jobs so it would keep any realm of possibility of going out and kind of, getting off track out of the way because I was working. And so then I'd be back on the grind Monday, Tuesday, and I would just be ready. I'd work as hard as I could. I'd eat the best nutrition possible, but I wasn't maximizing my hours. I was waiting for the phone to ring. That's why I know I'll probably get back into the entertainment industry and I'll do some things. But what I'm doing now, from 6 to 11:30, 12 at night, 6 a.m., I'm on. You know what I mean? And it's a feeling like I used to have that anxiety, wondering what's going to happen. Now it's just pure excitement all day. Like there's always something to do that I can control, and there's no uncertainty. It's me. It's all me now, and I love, it's a big responsibility, and I love that. But it's just kind of like maybe you can relate, just being an athlete, having a family to provide for. It's up to you. Sure, there are other people out there making decisions, but you want to show up to camp in the best shape possible, which I know you did. Year after year, which from situations where you were the non-roster invitee to the Cubs, and then they ended up going with you over Qataris, right?
Yeah, I've kind of been through like baseball. I've been through every kind of spring training situation. I've been a young guy, yeah, non-roster invite, major league invite. No, I was on the team. No, I was probably going to be the backup. I've been through all of that. I think that it's a little bit different in baseball because I guess it's not, because so much in baseball is way out of your control. You could do everything right as a hitter. You could take your perfect swing at the right pitch that the guy threw. You could hit it right on the right part of the bat, and you're out. Because there's 9 other people out there trying to prevent you from being safe. And so baseball, you have to really kind of accept that you're not in control all the time. You have to accept it. And then I think when you accept the things that you aren't in control of, it makes it easier for you to really dive into the things that you are in control of and do those things passionately. That's one of the things I learned from playing sports. It's okay, well, I can't control what happens once I hit the ball, but I can't control everything that's going into my mind as I'm walking up to the plate, And if I have the right attitude as I'm walking up, I'm in the right frame of mind. I'm using the right kind of effort level when I'm hitting, as per the situation. I'm calm, my body's under control, and I'm relaxed, and my mind's clear, and I get the pitch that I want to swing at, and I swing. That's literally that's the only thing I have control over. It doesn't matter what happens after the ball leaves my bat, because it's all gone, And I think that that helped me deal with leaving the game of baseball as a player. It's something I recently did last year. Getting released and being weirdly, and maybe I'll have regrets of this later, but I drove away from the field the last day of professional baseball after 14 seasons in a row and playing all over the world, and I had literally no I had no negative emotions towards it. It was really bizarre. I was driving away and I'm like, nah, it's about right. It makes sense. I left the situation going there's you go back through the checklist, well, could I have done this different? No, that different. No, this, I took the best information that I could, and I did the best that I could with it, and I know that I put an extraordinary amount of effort into what I was doing. So when they told me, hey, we don't think you're good enough anymore, I kind of went all right, makes sense. I realize I'm not performing, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better, and I'm practicing more than everybody else. So I'm going to go ahead and take it to the house and enjoy Northern California for a little bit.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to ask you about. This is your first first full season without having to report to spring training. It must be. I know you still went down to Arizona, I believe, and I saw you. You were around the Cubs, and as a just kind of as a roving instructor and things like that. I wanted to and I talked with you a little bit, but I want you to share with the audience kind of what that was like for you, just mentally. Was it a relief? Was it kind of are you itching to get back? What was it? What was it like to not have to prepare going into spring training, but also once you got there, was it kind of to walk through that locker room as a coach, as an instructor, but not as a player for the first time? What was that like?
That was super weird. It was super weird because usually when I would go into spring training, at least the last couple of years, I was kind of like competing for a job or competing to keep a job. So there's like stress and anxiety that comes with that. And so usually when I would walk into those complexes, there would be this level of like, you're going to go into competition. You start kind of like everybody kind of starts standing up a little straighter and and like looking around. People start their posturing, like body language posturing immediately. And this year when I walked in, there was like none of that. I wasn't competing with anybody. So I walk in and like I was just happy to see some of my friends. Really seriously, that was about it. Like I didn't miss the competition. Now I mean I should note that I started doing jujitsu like 2 months after I stopped playing baseball, so I kind of filled that void of competition. And I mean I'm almost a year into doing that now, and so that satisfies like the physical parts, like the animal parts of baseball. Like the when I'm batting, the guy's pitching, I'm trying to get him out. Like the kind of intensity of competition in practice, just in practice in jiu-jitsu is it's people trying to strangle each other. So you do that, and then I don't miss the baseball competition. But I kind of I really enjoyed in spring training this year looking at the game itself from a different perspective because I played for so long that I always looked at it from this player's perspective of being in the present and I'm just ready to hit whatever pitch comes. I've got the scouting report for the hitters in my head that when I'm catching, and it's like kind of these small day-to-day tasks that change every single day, right? It changes every day. But coming in and looking at this game, I committed so much of my life and time to this game, and I've only looked at it from one perspective. So coming back as a coach or whatever I was last year, an executive advisor, coming back into it like that, it gave me the opportunity to look at something that I really spent so much time at from a completely different angle. So I think I was too caught up in viewing it from this new space to even like worry so much about emotions because the competitive urge was gone from my recreational activity. I could still go and work out at the facility and train, which is I enjoyed doing that. And then I got to be around baseball, but I didn't have the stress of having to pick up a bat and go hit against somebody. I could just kind of watch and help, and it was easy.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned your job. I think I forget who it was. I think it may have been Shane Victorino. I was like, oh, I'm Baker's friend. What is he doing? What is his title? It's like what is he doing here? He just kind of walks around with the fungo and throws BP. So that had to be. I don't know, man. I mean, only but it had to be just a whirlwind of emotion. There's got to be like a little bit of relaxation because there's got to be. I don't know. I mean, are you satisfied with your career in the game of baseball and what you've done? I'm curious.
As a player?
As a player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, cool, man.
I know.
Like you realize you started this podcast off, you were talking about how I walked on at freaking Cal. I mean, I walked on at Cal. Like every day that I played beyond high school was a bonus day of my baseball career, and it lasted for almost 15 years professionally. Yeah. Like it blows my mind that not that I'm not trying to like discount my ability or anything like that because I think I kind of proved as I got older. I mean, you have to have a requisite physical skill set to be able to play at that level. There's not a lot of like terrible athletes playing in the big leagues. And I always kind of thought that I was just average to below average of the athletes at the top level of the world competitively. And I have noticed that when I've gotten back in like doing a new sport, I'm more athletic than most people are, probably from the years of training or whatever, but not in high school. That's how I didn't feel that way in high school. In high school, I was the kid that just took 7,000 swings off the tee and hoped you got a hit in the game. We had other kids that were doing different stuff that were like that, going to Arizona State or going to Boston College or San Diego on baseball scholarships, like they were studs, but they didn't approach the practice part of it the same way that I did. And in the end, I think I kind of proved that's the whole, like that's the secret. The only secret is that you train as much as possible. Like the most efficient way possible. You train as hard as you can. You practice as much as you can, and then when you get to competition. You just have fun doing it. You look forward to it and you take that anxiety. Like I used to always tell the pitchers that I would when they would like make a major league debut and they would come in and they would be all nervous. One of the pieces of advice I would give them, I would say, hey, you feel the feeling of like the butterflies right now and like how you're kind of nervous and like you see all these people around here. I'd like step off and enjoy it for a second because that's why we're doing this. We're not doing this because it's easy. we're doing this because we have to overcome these emotions. It's like that's the best thing in the world. It's the best part about playing on a national stage or having to deal with like the attention of everybody. Like in baseball, you go out and hit, and they put a giant picture of your face on the video board right next to your it's like 50 feet high, your face with a stupid smile put her. Hey,
Yeah.
oh hey, John Baker hitting 192. He sucks. Everybody boos your huge face, and and then you get to the batter's box, and you're facing I don't know, you got to bat against Jake Arrieta, or you're facing Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's booing you, and you already suck right next to the picture. So those are the things that that's the one thing I miss about baseball. But to answer your original question, I don't have any regrets about how my career turned out. Like, I couldn't be more proud of the time I spent being a professional baseball player. The lessons that the game itself taught me. It's something I'll always respect and love and appreciate.
And as your good friend and brother, man, I have to say, going into your homes that you created for yourself, like that is something that has always inspired me. And as things are growing, for me, it's just growing. I mean, I say that word very humbly, and like I know that's what I want. I mean, you created a home for yourself by just out of with your own two hands, in your own mind, and your own belief in yourself, and like two beautiful daughters. You married your high school sweetheart. Like, it is a story that I've told in Thanksgiving dinner at least twice in front of my family. I mean, they already know, but like some guests that we have over probably didn't know you. But I mean, it's something I really, it's a profound story, and it's beautiful, man. And you did it. And I mean, it's look at all that memorabilia behind you. You got you have a lot of great relationships, and from people that when you would walk out, and like players from just being in the tunnel, to the audience out there, I would go to a lot of games and just kind of just wait for Bake, and I'd be with Megan, his wife, after, and I'd wait in the tunnel. I mean, there's just so much love, dude. When I went to the Cubs, there was like a line of players waiting to meet me. I don't know what you told them, dude, but they were just like, they're just such good dudes. And that's like the baseball spirit in general. These are good guys, as you know. I mean, just a lot of good guys that, excuse me, that have fought for where they are, that have dealt with a lot of adversity. There's not a lot of, I mean, at least from what I saw, a lot of just really good dudes. The Cubs are a very special example of that. I mean, that clubhouse is unlike. I mean, I've been in a few, but it's just even the Padres, the A's, who else have visited? Dodgers. Just I mean, these are guys. You're living in a dream, and even in a competitive atmosphere like that, it's just every time that I go there, every time that I'm around there, it kind of like just takes me back, and it's something. It's such an incredible time in my life that I spent the most exciting years of my life doing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Those guys better be nice.
What's that?
Those guys better be nice. They're living the dream, man. They should be nice.
I know. Yeah, it's
they're having the best time ever.
Yeah, and it's it's something that so I would often think I would check box scores, and I would in a very, like you, in like just a very like really good way, dude. Like when you would win, when Jacques would win, when these people, like I literally, like I would never think anything down of any other. Like it's like you, it's just in my brain. I wanted to see people succeed. I've always, like, that's it. Like I don't have that little heart set. Like it's just not in me. I've always, like, when you guys did well, it really just made me feel good. So that's so it's I was just curious on how you felt about your playing career, and because I know how I feel about your playing career, what you've done for your family, and how it's just awesome, man. I couldn't be happier for you, man.
I feel like I probably feel the same way that you feel about your mask. Like that's a product of so much hard work, like, and so deeply personal to you.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. That's why I love doing these podcasts, because I'm just now. I'm right now, and I know what I have to do now, and but that's why these podcasts, and tomorrow, it's fun to look back and really remember where I was, and remember the plastic cups that I'd have to run into Whole Foods, and the manager would come over. Hey, what are you? They're not even for sale. I would just buy a big stack of them. They didn't have a price for them. they came up with 15 cents per little plastic solo cup. They're the clear cups for the honey and the olive oil. I would just buy that, or I would just get the big packs of 50, and I'd bring them up to the front. I'd be like, hey guys, I know, bring the manager over. It's 15 each, the same guy. They probably thought I was crazy, but what I would do is I would fill those things with the mask, go over to FedEx, print out a Times New Roman label, slap it on, tape it shut, and hope for the best, shipping to like Sweden, Germany. And it was just, those are the days like that, like I was just in a moment. Like I was selling something, learning how to run a business from the backward side, like coming up with the price, selling, and then, oh geez, I should probably have a website. Oh man, I should probably come up with a good proper packaging. It was it's extremely fulfilling because people are responding very well to the product. I mean, and like genuinely, I get emails every day, and that's what keeps this hummingbird going. Lights that, keeps that fire. Just it's just exciting. You know, it's extremely fun to live a life with excitement and just like giddy. You know, I don't really, yeah. But I thank you for saying that. If any way I can, you know, draw some type of tangent to what you've done, you know, I mean, that's awesome.
I want to know. I want to know what you're eating right now. That's what I want to know.
Well, so I just got grass-fed ribeye from a place called Gwen in on Sunset. I read an article about it. It's this high-end like butcher shop that's really awesome. Of course, I asked a million questions. They source their meat from Marin, and it's just this really amazing marbleized ribeye that I'm going to crush tonight later. But are you talking in general, or are you just talking like in general? So I'm an intermittent fast fan. So tonight I'll probably eat, I don't know, 9 p.m., whatever it is. But say if I eat at 9, tomorrow I'll probably go till 1 or 2. So that's a 16, 17-hour fast. So from 9 until 12 until 1 or 2, we're looking at 16 to 17-hour fast, going strictly on my morning tonic and bulletproof coffee that I really turn up with adaptogenic herbs, Ayurvedic herbs, medicinal mushrooms, grass-fed butter, brain octane oil, stevia, cayenne pepper, Ceylon cinnamon, maca, tribulus. I mean, I'm just astragalus, hoshuwu, schizandra, spirulina. I mean, all these things are just creating this circulation and just
all of them in the coffee.
No, so the last 3 are part of my morning tonic, which I do first to that's when I hop in my inversion table. I hang upside down. I let all that rush into my head. I usually have a mask on. Tomorrow I'll probably take it off, or I won't. I'll take tomorrow off because I did it today. I do it every other day. But in my inversion table, I'm inverted upside down. I'm getting all those amazing amino acids and Chinese herbs, hoshuwu, gynostemma. Let's see, astragalus. Let's see here, beta alanine. I mean, so amino acids. We're talking about glycine, proline, arginine, glutamine, theanine, tyrosine, taurine, astaxanthin, krill oil. There's so much. I could go on and on. But the thing is it's my little thing that just, it just gets that circulation going. And then, so I'm upside down, and then I come back up. Everything from head to toe is going. And then I feed it with that bulletproof coffee, and then I'm just good. I mean, I'm locked in. I go down, I bang out emails, I start going, going back in my head on certain R&D of research and development. I have this amazing eye serum that I'm working on right now with I can't. I'll tell you about it. It's just it's my thing. It's just doing my research. It's the calls that I have to do. And just I have an assistant now that she started her first day of work yesterday. She's awesome. She gets it. I put her through a couple just kind of situations that I told her how to box up the orders and go through our shipping easy machine, and I wanted to see if she could pick it up while I ran out and did some errands, and she was fine. She came back. She had the boxes all together. She didn't close them. Because she wanted to make sure that it was packed correctly. I mean, stuff like that is just, it's amazing to me because once my time is freed up, it's so much fun. I mean, I want to do this podcast. I want to start making those retail and wholesale relationships all around the world. I mean, we're in 44 countries now, babe.
Yeah.
Dominican Republic just was number 44.
DR. I want to know where in the DR it is.
Oh man, I don't have it. It was it's this orphanage actually at let's see here. so they all these awesome, beautiful young ladies are they all took a picture and sent it to me. And this, let's see, got it right here. Niños de Cristo, La Romana, Dominican Republic. La Romana.
La Romana, dude, I lived there.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it like?
Well, I lived at Casa de Campo, which is like some ridiculous resort down there when I was playing. But I used to get lunch every day at the Jumbo, which is like the Dominican Republic's version of Walmart. It's like everything is at the everything is there. It was like the one place where we could go to get food and like cooking supplies and stuff, you know, without having to buy it on the resort where it's super expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, La Romana is like I think it used to be like in sugarcane production. But it's I think it's the furthest Toros del Este. So I think it's the furthest team east on the Dominican. But that's where I played. I played in that city for that team, the Toros del Este in La Romana, Dominican Republic. Too funny, man.
Text me the name of that. I'm gonna ask them if they
ask them if they're Toros fans.
Toros fans, okay.
Ask them if they're Toros fans. In fact, it's crazy. Just, they have like on the video board at that stadium, right? You're playing, and it's just like Latin American baseball is completely different. You know, like people are just they're just like a full band is playing. There's chicks dancing on top of the dugout. Like the PA is playing, the guy's talking while you're hitting. You know, it's awesome. Yeah. And guys are just bat flipping everywhere. Everyone's having a good time. Like nobody takes it too seriously. But there's some good players down there. And anyway. Like in the seventh inning, we're playing, and I look up, and they play like the first time I'm there, and they play like we're gonna try to come back and score like pump up video on the video board, and it's just people getting smashed by bulls the whole time.
What?
Like, yeah, I was like creeped out, like I had to like look away, you know. I'm like, my God, really? Are they putting the? Oh God, this guy's got like a horn like right through his thigh, you know, like
just
that.
bored?
Like, yeah, just bull smashing people, but. They loved it down there, man. Yeah, no, fun place, great place to play. In fact, I recommend everybody, if anybody's a baseball fan, one thing that you should do is book a trip, go to the Dominican, and go see a game there in the Winter League live. It's so much fun to go see live. It's safe. The people are super nice.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, maybe that was Venezuela that I was thinking about that's a little rough.
I think some parts of Venezuela are scary right now, but I'm unsure. You know, it depends on who you know. Yeah. But yeah, playing baseball down there, you're safe.
Yeah, I remember you telling me stories how you just have this beautiful, like, suite. They just treat you. Yeah, my boy, I have a friend, Henry Wrigley, who is he's like a legend down in Venezuela right now. He's got some, like, Spanish nickname, which is just hilarious. Like, the lumberjack in Spanish, whatever that means. Like, I don't know what it is, but he's the lumberjack. He had this big, thick beard, and all he did was just pimp like 450-foot home runs and just slow trot around the bases, just trucking away.
You well there. You're a hero, man.
Yeah, man. So, it's cool. It's me personally. I mean, I just the area code games, the trips around the country, playing with who are now still in the major leaguers. Guys like J.P. Howe. I think he's the only one that's still. Will Feldman, guys that I played with in other areas, but just like that, traveling around, you know, that tryout situation, that just that energy, that of like that, it was kind of nerves, but it was excitement. You know, remember that in high school, that just the tryout format for, you know, what Cal High Sports, Team California, you know, area code games, Team One.
Team One. That was
Team One was great. My mom, Tropicana Field. I mean, baseball has brought me so much, not only mentally, but just life experience. You know, challenging yourself, like you said, mentally, and then coming out on top. I mean, there are situations in my head that I relive almost daily. Just whenever I'm, you know, that's a situation that gave me an edge in the entertainment industry. You know, sitting around the waiting room, there's no way this guy's ever hit a 450-foot bomb in left center. You know what I mean? But hey, whatever it takes to give you that edge. But it's just it's really good to just hear some stories from you and hear how your mind went through your process, because you've done, I mean, had such a great career, but on top of that, you're respected and liked and by so many. I mean, I know this because I spent a lot of time with Kalish, and Ryan Kalish is an outfielder for the Cubs, and Unfortunately, he got injured again, which
Yeah, dude, got surgery. Poor guy.
I know. I've been texting back and forth with him. Me and him are actually going to do. We're going to talk Friday on one of these podcasts. But he's just, I mean,
An awesome guy, man.
just one of the best. And it's just a lot of fun.
That dude's so resilient.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are gonna have a lot to talk about, but we could set it up right now. The amount of injuries he's gone through and what he's come back from, like you're talking about somebody who was in the big league super young, out for a couple of years after like a broken neck, doesn't play for a couple of years, makes a major league team, gets hurt again, misses an entire season again, gets called up again. I mean, he's unbelievable. Like he's somebody I'll never stop believing in. I don't care what, give him a bionic leg. That guy's a good player. He's got an unbelievable mindset, and I think he'll get back to the big leagues, which will be just ridiculous after missing another year again. You know?
Right. And it's really I'm like you. I don't. I mean, I 100% believe in it. When he told me that he was going under again for surgery, I was bummed for him, but it's just like I would never give up on that dude. It's just he's going to work his way back. He's such a good dude, and this for whatever reason, it's going to happen. It's taking a really difficult route on his end. I mean, I can't imagine. I've never even heard. I think it's like me and him have talked extensively about it, but I think like 9 or some crazy amount of injuries that he's been through. And you want to talk resilience, man? I mean, it's just that's it.
That's it. That's a shining example of how to be resilient.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just you can't. Yeah, he's got it upstairs, and that's that's a lot of where baseball relies is just having that strong mind and just that will to just block everything else out, but just stay focused on the goal ahead. But this was a tough one for him, so can't wait to talk to him. But I do have some questions here for you. I want to know what is something you're really good at that people don't know about.
I'm really good at that people don't know about?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wouldn't say I'm good at the guitar.
I was going to say that. No?
So I wouldn't say I'm good. I haven't been playing enough. Let's see. What's something that's weird about me? Well, I really like combat sports. I don't know if that's something that's strange, but like I've been boxing again for a couple months now. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 10 months, and I'm going to compete pretty soon in something. So
yeah,
people know about that. I'm probably going to compete in jiu-jitsu first because why not? 35-year-old man, strap a gi on, go out and try to strangle someone.
I love it.
Maybe that's my secret. My hidden talent is that I already said it, so it's not hidden anymore. Yeah, no guitar. I really like to cook. I do really like to cook. My wife cooks a lot. I try to help more in the past than now because I've been back in school. But also, I feel like I like my bulletproof coffee recipe. Like I feel like we crush it. And man, I made it the other day without coffee, and I used lion's mane mushroom tea instead. And for some reason, with like the consistent, and I go 3 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of brain octane oil because I've been doing the ketogenic diet now I'm in the middle of my 3rd week. Man, I don't know. There's something about like the sweetness of that mushroom tea and all that stuff that comes together. I put like a little scoop of the bulletproof hot chocolate in it. I put brain octane oil, cayenne, cinnamon, and I just have it like in the middle of the day if I'm feeling a little low on the day because I've been trying to do the same thing as you, like intermittently fast, just bulletproof coffee in the morning and then something at 3 and then dinner late.
Yeah.
And that, dude, I gotta like put that recipe out because it's the best. I feel like I want to make it right now, even though it's late. It's the best damn thing ever.
I'm gonna go as soon as we get off. I'm going to get some lion's mane because that's been all. What's your source?
Lion's mane is from when we were at the Bulletproof conference last year. There was a company that sold.
4 Sigma, or do you go Jing?
4 Sigma. Maybe that's what it is. Is Jing better?
I don't even think Jing sells lion's mane. I'm going to find out tonight, and I'm going to make that. I mean, by the end of the week, I'm going to.
Yeah, I had it as an afternoon bulletproof coffee because I didn't want enough. I didn't want a bunch of caffeine, and that lion's mane is the supposed benefits of it are for like learning or studying,
oh, dude,
which is what I've been doing a ton of right now. So I keep making that over and over again. It's like my study concoction. I have a big glass of that while I'm like reading or writing a paper or something.
So that lion's mane, to the audience out there, there have been a number of studies that they are close to coming to being able to release. I don't want to say it doesn't, obviously it doesn't cross the blood brain barrier, but there have been studies that show that it's supposed to really really help in Alzheimer's, and not magnesium threonate is another really Natural Stacks MagTech has magnesium threonate in it, which is what I take, and that's really they're starting to find out more and more about lion's mane. And I just obviously went on a tangent there with the threonate. That's just another one that actually Stanford's doing a study on magnesium threonate that they're getting close on being able to release, which is just.
Do you take that at night?
I do. I take 3 caps at night.
Take that calm magnesium at night.
What's that?
Calm magnesium. It's like a drink.
Oh yeah, I don't like that because it has a citric acid in there. It kind of barks at the stomach a little bit.
Oh, I like the way it tastes, man. It's like sour.
Oh no, it's unbelievable. Don't get me wrong. It just kind of barks at the stomach a little bit. I didn't tell you I'll tell you my go-to meal right now that those meals that just it feels like get absorbed immediately and you're just good. Yeah. I'm big on leg of lamb steak. I cut them up into little chunks. I rub habanero. I dice up habaneros. I rub German mustard all over them. Set them aside. Cast iron pan, applewood bacon. Slow cook the bacon. Cover. Obviously, set the bacon off. Cook the bacon. Set the bacon aside. Leave the bacon fat in there. Dice up thinly sweet potatoes. Broccoli. Trader Joe's has this $1.99 broccoli floret, which is great because it's only the tops, which are the most nutrient dense part of the stalk or the plant. The stalk is just all vegetable cellulose. So
it's brutal anyway.
What's that? Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, I just chop it off.
It's like too chewy. That stuff sucks.
my buddy Matt just breaks it off, and he just takes it at Whole Foods, and I'm like, dude, I would do that, but like I just feel so bad for the guy. They're just pimping the stalks and leaving it. But yeah, so I steam that, and I'll add a little bit more butter to it. Low heat, slow cooked, steam sear, little cayenne, little hot sauce, Himalayan salt, and then the bacon is already cooked, so that's aside. And then I'll pull the veggies out. Everything in there, the bacon fat is still probably remain. I'll add another tablespoon of butter. I sear up the leg of lamb steak, $7.99 or maybe $8.99 a pound. It's a super cheap cut, but it's unbelievable. If you get it with the bone in, it still has that marrow in there, that good grass-fed marrow.
Did you get that?
Oh, it's unbelievable. So you sear it up, cover both sides. Lamb, I love the taste of lamb. It has that. I don't want to call it gamey, but it's like a rich
flavor, man. Yeah, it's a delicious fat flavor.
Man. And so you sear it. I mean, I love it super rare. And then you combine it all together. I'll add smoked jalapeno, fermented kraut, probably 2 avocados. I love avocados. This Browse hot sauce, BRAUS, Browse, whatever. It's habanero hot sauce. Mix it all together in a freaking dog bowl, and I just go to town, dude. Just power it down. It's unbelievable, dude. I mean, everything in there. You have your fermented vegetables. You have your great grass-fed protein and grass-fed fats it's a leg of lamb steak, so you still have a good amount of fat, grass-fed fat in there. You get that good K2, that good, really good omega-3 fat content. You got the good avocados there, the vitamin A, the vitamin C, the K from the broccoli. I mean, it's just, and then the beta carotene from the sweet potatoes. They all blend together, the ACK, and it's just that's my go-to meal right now. And I probably have that 5 nights a week. And then obviously chopping it up with the bacon in there. I mean, it is unbelievable, dude. You like to cook?
So much fat too, man. That's the thing. That's the thing that I think most people don't realize.
Yeah.